The workshop's alarm shrieked at 0300 hours, jolting Kyle awake in his cramped quarters above the repair bay. He'd been working the frontier station for 3 years now, fixing everything from mining rigs to atmospheric processors. But nothing had ever triggered the emergency perimeter sensors at this hour. Kale rushed down the metal stairs, plasma wrench in hand, expecting pirates or perhaps a malfunctioning cargo hauler. What he found instead made him freeze mid-step. A creature of impossible size filled his landing pad. Even collapsed as it was, the alien stretched nearly 40 feet from snout to tail, scales the color of deep space, midnight blue shot through with veins of bioluminescent silver, reflected the harsh floodlights. Massive wings, torn and bleeding, were folded protectively around something. Holy, Kyle breathed, recognizing the species from xenobiology databases. A Dravoxian. Dragons, the spacers called them, apex predators from the Scorpius sector. Known for their territorial nature and devastating plasma breath, one had never ventured this far into human space. The creature's head lifted, revealing eyes like molten gold. When it spoke, the translator implant in Kale's ear rendered the deep rumbling sounds into standard Terran. Human. The voice carried pain and desperate hope. My mate, Syra, dying. Your kind. The dragon's massive chest heaved. Your kind does the impossible. Fixes what others abandon. Please. The wings unfurled slightly, revealing a second dragon, smaller and more delicately built. Her scales, once probably brilliant crimson, had faded to dull rust. A massive wound gaped in her chest, metal fragments embedded deep. Kale's mechanic eye immediately recognized the damage. A mining charge, probably illegal, had detonated too close. I am Vryn, the male dragon continued, lowering his enormous head until it was level with Kale's face. I know your species is young, weak in many ways, but I have seen human stations survive when Dravoxian strongholds fell. I have watched human ships fly when all logic says they should tumble into stars. You make the broken whole again. Kale's mind raced. Everything in his survival instinct screamed to refuse, to call station security, to get this predator away from populated areas. Dravoxians had wiped out 3 colony worlds in territorial disputes. Their plasma breath could melt through battle armor like butter. But he looked into those golden eyes and saw something he recognized. The same desperate determination he'd seen in his own mirror 5 years ago, when his sister lay dying in a colony hospital, and he'd worked for 72 hours straight to repair the life support systems that kept her alive. Get her inside, Kale said, already moving toward his equipment. Bay 3 has the highest ceiling. And Vryn, if I'm doing this, you follow my instructions exactly. Hope flared in the dragon's eyes. Anything, human, anything. For the next 18 hours, Kale worked a miracle he didn't know he was capable of. Dravoxian biology was completely alien. Their blood was mercury-based, their organs operated on principles that made no sense to carbon-based medicine. But Kale wasn't a doctor. He was a mechanic. And when he looked at Syra's damaged body, he didn't see flesh and blood. He saw systems, energy flows, structural integrity. The metal fragments had to come out, but each one was lodged near critical energy channels. Kale jury-rigged a magnetic extraction system from mining equipment, calibrating it with a precision that would have made his old academy instructors weep. When Syra's primary heart began to fail, he adapted an industrial coolant pump to assist it, matching the rhythm with nothing but his own steady hands and gut instinct. Vryn watched every move, occasionally offering observations about Dravoxian physiology, but mostly staying silent. Once, when Kale's hands shook from exhaustion, the massive dragon gently steadied the work table with the tip of one claw, careful not to disturb the delicate operation. Why do you do this? Vryn asked softly. We are not your kind. My species has taken human worlds. Kyle didn't look up from his work, carefully sealing a damaged organ with biofoam, because she's dying. And he loves her. That's enough. As dawn broke over the station, Syra's scales began to brighten. The bioluminescent veins pulsed stronger. Her breathing, which had been shallow and irregular, steadied into a deep, powerful rhythm. Vryn released a sound that might have been a sob. His great head nuzzled his mate's gently, and for the first time in 18 hours, Kale saw him truly relax. The council will hear of this, Vryn said, his voice thick with emotion, not of a human's weakness or youth. They will hear of this day when a human mechanic did what our finest healers could not, when your species showed strength that has nothing to do with weapons or wars. Kale wiped the grease and blood. Mercury, he corrected himself, from his hands. Just don't blow up any more of our stations, yeah? Bad for business. Vryn's rumbling laugh shook tools on the workbench. I make no promises for all Dravoxians, Kale of Earth, but you have allies among the stars now. And when word spreads of what happened here, and it will spread, others will remember. The humans who fix what is broken, who see life worth saving regardless of form. 3 days later, after Sira was strong enough to fly, Kale watched the two dragons lift off into the purple sky of the frontier station. They spiraled together, their scales catching the light of the twin suns, before disappearing into the void. The next month, his small repair shop received contracts from species that had never dealt with humans before. Dravoxians brought their damaged ships personally, insisting only Kale's people touch them. The station commander questioned him for hours, unable to believe what had transpired. But Kale understood what the rest of humanity was only beginning to grasp. Humans weren't the strongest or the oldest or the most advanced species in the galaxy, but they had something else, something that couldn't be measured in firepower or technology. They refused to give up. They saw problems as puzzles, not impossibilities. And sometimes when they looked at a dying dragon carried in desperate hope by her mate, they saw not an alien threat, but simply someone who needed help. That was humanity's real strength. And now the galaxy was beginning to notice.